Happy New Year, everyone. I'm saying hello from Bogota, Colombia. I spent my New Year's Eve in the airport and flying from New York to Bogota. So, kind of tired right now, but I'm excited for the new year, for the new beginnings. Excited to see what happens with Standing Rock in this year. And I'm excited to go into ceremony in a few days. It's going to be really hard to be off the grid. Like, I'm getting kind of anxious about not being able to check in what's happening at camp, but have a really great team that's going to be running the Standing Rock Stories group for me, and then I'll be moving more into sharing in the Lolly Be Healing group as well, starting now actually. And yeah, so I just wanted to share some thoughts that I had, I guess, reflecting on the year. Last year was a lot of firsts for me, a lot of challenges I put myself through. And it really is true, you grow from being in uncomfortable situations. You learn about yourself from doing things that you've never done before. And it's not easy, it's not fun. A lot of the time when I'm getting ready to do an experience like what's coming up, I have moments of anxiety or just reminding myself, like, I don't have to do this. But then it's from a higher part of myself, from the spirit, that says, yes, this is the best thing for you. Just like sometimes medicine doesn't taste good, but makes you healthy. So I think of some of these ceremonies and practices as spiritual medicine. And, being at Standing Rock was that also. It wasn't easy all the time. Was really stressful and challenging, but that's how I learned, and I think that's what a lot of us went through. Standing up in those difficult situations, living outside, facing danger and fear. That's how we learned about ourselves and learned about our own strength and our capacity. So I'm really grateful for that. And another topic I wanted to address today is relationships, because all different kinds of relationships, every person that you meet brings out a different part of yourself. And it kind of polarizes you. There's a different chemical reaction, I think, of it between you and someone else that you're with. And so within relationships, there's a lot of power dynamics as well, which isn't necessarily bad, but you can just observe that between, especially if you're in a group of 2 to 4 people, you can see like, oh, who might take up more space or more attention, or who makes the decisions and who's followed. I did a training one time in social psychology and talking about authority when you speak, and sometimes it's the quietest person that when they do choose to speak, they have the most authority because people really listen and respect their opinion. Other times it's the person who speaks the loudest that has the most effect. And I think with individuals and when you're traveling or spending time with one other person, there's a lot of nuances that need to be worked out, like the different pace that you travel at, like that you just wake up and start the day and get things done. Can you negotiate a compromise with that? Does one person overwhelm the other one? Does one person frustrate the other one with their speed? The way that you communicate, right? We all think we speak the same language, but a lot of the time we use words in different ways that have different meanings for the same thing based on our previous experience. So I think understanding how to ask really clearly, well, when you say this to me, this is what it means. And when I say this, like, how do you hear that? How do you interpret that? That can be a helpful practice. And giving each other space, is really important. I think that sometimes when you're around someone that you like in whatever capacity, or you're doing something together, you can get stuck into that kind of like we're going to just stick together and do everything together and eat every meal together and wake up and go to sleep together. And it's important, I travel a lot by myself. That's kind of my go-to. And so for me, whenever I travel with other people or work in teams, I have to, negotiate how to provide for my own needs and that other person's. And I think having that space, time to yourself to reflect, you realize things. You can allow yourself to hear your own voice in a way that isn't always available when you're always externalizing. So those are some thoughts on relationship. And yeah, I'll be updating more soon. I haven't quite figured out how to move my platform and my voice from the Standing Rock movement into my own space. So if you have any suggestions on that, things you want to hear about that I know about, um, just questions you have about my perspective on things or ideas, I've had a lot of different lessons packed into the past 10 years in particular, traveling to 37 countries at least once and just immersing myself in a lot of different experiences and communities and cultures. So I'm here to share. It's just sometimes hard for me to know what to draw upon. So I'll talk to you guys soon and check out this awesome mural behind me. Thank you.